Hi everyone! Tonight we're going to look at dividing decimals. I'm going to have a couple little things that we are going to look at with dividing decimals. A couple little hints. But before we look at that, our objective is today the concept of dividing decimals will be reinforced because I do believe that you learned this last year. If not, we will introduce you to it. We will solve some problems together and you will solve some problems on your own and then you will take a quiz. So in order to divide decimals, if the divisor is not a whole number, move the decimal point to the right to make it a whole number, and then move the decimal point in the dividend the same number of places. If you're not sure what divisor and dividend mean, you might want to stop the video and look those up because we're going to talk about that tomorrow as well. And then the second thing that you do is divide as usual. And the third thing, you're going to put the decimal point directly above the decimal point in the dividend. And the dividend is the number that you're in the brackets, okay? And then you're going to check your answer by multiplying. So let's look at one. We have 7.2, or the proper way to say it is 7 2/10 divided by 9. This is the dividend, and this is the divisor. And there aren't any decimal points. There isn't a decimal point here, so we're just going to look over here. And what we're going to do is we are going to move that directly up. And we're going to put it right here. And then you're just going to divide as usual. So we're going to do the traditional way of dividing, but tomorrow for those of you that do the partial quotient way, we can reinforce that in class and go through it. But I still want you to listen. So 9 doesn't go into 7, so 9 we're going to go into 72. And since we're going into the 72, we're going to put how many times it goes in it above the 2. And 9 goes into 72 8 times. So we're pretending the decimal isn't even there. And we do 8 times 9 is 72. So we've multiplied, or we've divided. Now we're multiplying and we're subtracting. So our answer is 0.8, or the proper way of saying it is 8/10. And then let's look over here to see if we did it correctly. Whoopsie. Why isn't that moving? Let's just check it out a little bit. 8/10. So in order to check it, you take your answer, which is the quotient. Let me get the pen back on. Which is 0.8 times the divisor, which is 9. And 8 times 9 is 72, right? And there is one number after the decimal point. So we're going to put the decimal point right here. One number after the decimal point. So 7 2/10 equals 7 2/10. So we should be good to go. Let's look at another one. 3 43/100 divided by 7. There again, we don't have any decimal points in the divisor, but we have it in the dividend. So we're just going to move it directly up here. And then we're going to treat it like it's just 343. So we look at it. Does 7 go into 3? Nope. Does it go into 34? Yes. How many times does 7 go into 34 without going over it? Well, 7 times 5 is 35. So 7 times 4 is 28. So I'm going to put that right here. So then this goes to 14, and this goes to 2. 14 take away 8 is 6. And bring down the 3. How many times does 7 go into 63? It goes in there 9 times. 9 times 7 is 63. And I subtract. And there aren't, so we have a 0, and there aren't any more numbers to bring down. So our answer is 49 hundredths. Let's look over here and see if that's what they got. Okay, so let's check that. Just going to slide the heart up here. And to check it, what do? We have the answer, or the quotient, and we're multiplying it by the divisor. So I'm just going to move that right down here. Okay? 7 times 9 is 63. Let's put down the 3, carry the 6. 7 times 4 is 28. And 28 plus 6 is 34. And here we look at it. There is 1 number after the decimal point, 2 numbers. So I'm going to count over here. 1 number, 2 numbers. And this matches this. These two match each other, so we should be good to go. The next one, I want you to try it on your own. And so you're going to pause the video, and when you're done with that, and you either can't do it, or you're stuck, or finish it to the end with your checking, and then come back. Well, welcome back. Here we are. Our problem is 5 and 25 hundredths divided by 5. There's nothing in the divisor, so the first thing I'm going to do is move this decimal point up here. Did you do that? Make sure you have that up in your answer. How many times does 5 go into 5? It goes once. And 1 times 5 is 5. Whoopsie. Having a hard time here. Okay. 5 take away 5 is 0. So we bring down the 2. How many times does 5 go into 2? It doesn't, does it? So 0 times 5 is 0. Oh, goodness sakes. And then subtract. 2 take away 0 is 2. And then we have 5. 5 goes into 25. 5 times 5 is 25. So our answer is 1 and 5 hundredths. Now, I didn't put an answer back there, so let's just check it out. 1.05 times 5. Keeps popping up. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2. 5 times 0 is 0 plus 2 is 2. And 5 times 1 is 5. We have 2 numbers after the decimal point. Does this equal this? It sure does, so we should be good to go. Next one, I want you to do these. Pause the video again and then come back, and we will work on them together. Welcome back. This one, we have the decimal point in the dividend and the divisor. So if you have it here, you're going to move it over here. See, we've moved it over 1, and over here, we're moving it over 1. So we've moved it over 1, 2. So I'm going to put it up here. And then you start like a regular problem. 7 into 49 goes 7 times. 7 times 7 is 49. Subtract. And we get a 0. And we bring down the 7. 7 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 7 is 7. And then you subtract. Let's do a quick job on checking this. We have 7 and 1/10 times 0.7. You're going to take the original dividend and divisor. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 7 is 49. We have 2 numbers after it, so I'm going to put it here, and that matches. Now, on this one, before I continue, if you need to readjust by moving your decimal point, because we had it in the dividend and divisor, do that. So I'm just going to wait for a minute. All right, so what you should do there is, since you're moving this over 1 here, you have to move it over 1 here. Okay? And then you're going to put it right over there. So whatever you do on this side, you have to do on this side. Okay? So now we're going to start. 5 doesn't go into 1, but it goes into 13. It goes in there twice. 2 times 5 is 10. Subtract. You get 38. 5 goes into 38 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract. Get a 3. Bring down the 4. Five goes into 34 6 times. And 6 times 5 is 30. And subtract. And then you're going to bring down the 5 from up here. And 5 goes into 44 9 times. And 9 times 5 is 45. And then we get a 0. Okay? Now let's check it. 2, 7, 6.9. And you're going to do the original dividend. I'm sorry, divisor. Times 0.5. 5 times 9 is 45. I'm going to put my multiplication sign here. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 4 is 34. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 3 is 38. And 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. And we have one number after the decimal, 2. And we're going to put it over here, 1, 2. And this matches this, so we're good. Now, it's quiz time. So I want you to do the following problems, and it's linked on the computer, so you'll be answering it electronically. I'm going to check your work tomorrow to make sure that you did the division problems and you checked your answers. Okay? And I'm going to ask to see it, so there's no reason why you shouldn't have your papers with the work on it and checking. Okay? Number 5 is, how comfortable are you with the concept? Are you really comfortable? You kind of get it, you just don't get it at all. All right? And then the last thing is, if you have any questions, write them down and we'll talk about it tomorrow. That's it for now. Goodbye.